Welcome back to the podcast, people. Oh, damn.
You like that one?
Welcome back to the podcast, my people. We're going to set it off again with another one. Well, what you got for us today, Bear?
We can talk about a few different things, but I think I was watching a YouTube channel, somebody's YouTube channel, and a detailer popped up, and I'm watching it, and it's funny because we're starting to see this particular detail was mobile, but it's interesting to see now this integration of battery in opposed to electric or gas, whether it be a generator, or like electric tools, stuff like that. Pressure washers, some people have gas pressure washers, some people have gas generators, some people have gas, even like the blowers, the leaf blowers. Some people use gas for those. They both have their pros and their cons. And now we're starting to see the generator, which is a big one. And what's one of the trends? What are things that you're starting to see with these electric generators?
They're breaking down from what I'm getting. They can't hold it down to what the detailers need. Yeah, as far as wattage, ampage, whatever that talk is, for whatever reason, they're going down.
Yeah, and I've noticed with specifically with the polishers, the power and stuff. It's not obviously you're not going to have that consistent power, and to us right now, the consistent power does not give us more advantage than the accessibility and the convenience of the battery.
Based on the type of work that's being done.
Yes, that's exactly, and that's what I mean. If I'm using rotary or something, I haven't tried the new Flex tool, which is supposed to be
a lot of good stuff about that. I'm hearing.
So that might be one of the next purchases as far as rotary wise, if it holds up and if it's if people say that it's still hitting, that might be a good investment to have, because here in the studio, I don't like to be. We got the sound system running, we got the lights running, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. We don't do any kind of compressed air in here, but steaming gets down in here. We do polishing, so we can have a few machines on at one time. And I always like to have a backup, not having it running just off of the studio. That little battery would come in handy for multiple things, the EcoFlow, I would think, right?
Yeah.
In many situations.
Yeah, noise. Number one, you don't have to deal with noise. I don't know how you guys like work, but distracting noise kind of dampens the mood. Yeah. The work morale. Not only it's annoying. Yeah, I just think the noise. The noise. Well, the noise is a real big factor.
Huge factor. So if you're rolling with something like that, there's that's the good side, and it's compact compared to most generators, and I don't think it's that lightweight. I want to say it's pretty heavy, but either way, it's it's rechargeable. It's solar. It says it's not meant to be like consistent use off of solar, like it needs time to recharge. But the benefits, I think, of that would be really good, because you could use that for shop purposes. Like, for instance, the steamer pulls a lot. Say if you're especially if you're mobile, man, if you're mobile, to be able to bring that into the place where you're working and not even have to work on any of their stuff. Say, I have my own unit here. That way everything is hooked up to it. You're not, it's not that much extra. It's a little piece of equipment. Just back up, drop it off, and boom, you got a full power source there. You can pretty much work anywhere quietly and safely. But people are saying the charging time is something that they didn't put into consideration when you go electric for your vehicle. If you have a trip down to Los Angeles is no longer a trip down. It's a trip down to down to Bakersfield, charging for 2 hours or whatever, then finishing off our trip, to get there. So it immediately turns 4.5 hours to 6.5 hours.
And you could just put that in prep work, adds to prep work.
Yeah.
That'll be part of your prep work time.
Yeah. So there's things where people are, the disadvantages to where people are saying, I know a few guys that have said, no, this ain't, I'm going back to gas. And I saw a video, and that's exactly what happened in this video. Is he said, tried this, tried that. He went from 2 generators, like doing the little link. You know how some brands you can link together. He went from that because he had 1 generator already.
But I'm like baffled when I hear all those things, because my families, they were all contractors. They still are, right?
Yeah.
They're on job sites running with the generator.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, how does a mobile detailer need so much power? Like, what are you doing? What are you operating a small town? Like, we're talking about leaking them up. Like, what's being done here?
I think we could go. I think we could talk about this.
You're charging your Tesla.
Okay, so this conversation just went from electric versus gas to now, like, but this obviously, what we're going to say is probably a solution to about, I would say, 70% of the detailers out there, because most of the detailers we talk to have this problem. Is they say, I can't source enough energy. I don't have enough power. I need more power. Like, how much fucking power do you need? People have like 9,000 watt generators. Like, what are you doing with that? Like, you can run a restaurant with that. Like, what are you doing?
Well, the taco trucks, they still running with a little 3,000.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? What the heck what are you trying to do? But I think it's not, you know what it is? It's like I think most guys that think I need more power, it's more of the opportunity that they're missing out on their order of operations.
Yes.
Then it is.
Period. Yes.
Yes.
That is it. Period.
Then it is them actually needing more power.
I gotta be ready to go. I gotta have the vacuum ready. I gotta have the steamer ready. I gotta have the extractor ready. Those gotta be ready at all times. It's like, why?
Yeah, like they don't know how to. They don't know how to time and like do something. Okay, this is gonna take me 20 minutes. Let me plug this in real quick. Let it get warmed up. So then when I'm done, because you can't do both of those at the same time anyway, especially if you're running by yourself. So I don't know what the fuck you're thinking.
I hear a lot of guys base it when they run with the team. I wish that we could gather the stats on how many people start out with the team, where how many times versus how many times you're detailing by yourself, because you got a person. Like, most likely you're going to be detailing by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you have a team, people, first of all, here's the okay. So go ahead.
I wanted to finish saying, you're planning on this big generator because you're thinking you have multiple people, but in all circumstances, most likely there's just going to be one person. So you're planning for the worst scenario, but only happens 10% of the time.
Yeah, like us with our when we got 2 lines for the the air compressor.
Yes. We got a new air compressor, and we're always trying to ways to make it get faster, more efficient.
And this was years ago.
And again, efficient is one of those words that just don't mean efficient. Just throw that shit in the trash can.
Yeah, most people don't understand what it means.
But we decided, hey, let's go with 2 reels of air compressor. So we got this bigger air compressor now. Let's get 2 hose reels, another 2 tornadors.
Yeah.
More double the cleaning power. It had pros and cons, but the pros didn't outweigh the
no. I think we used them maybe on like 4 occasions.
Yes.
For the extra weight, the extra maintenance, and just the extra space that it was taking up, definitely was not worth it.
Yes.
Definitely it was not worth it. So, and we're going to do a video about our setup soon, because I think people are really curious. It's how it's gotten now is we're probably in like version 10 or 12 of what we've done to it. And it's just because as we kind of become more optimized, our system becomes more optimized and simplified. So it's crazy because now it's kind of like we're removing everything and we're realizing it's a lot faster being just super organized without all this extra like stuff in it.
And then back to running everything all at once. Like, I want to know if these guys are taking into account, like, how many extractor jobs are you doing?
Yeah.
It's probably not that much, I would think, right? Like, how many times are you using the steamer in an actual week?
Yeah.
The things that's getting the most power is pressure washer,
steamer,
vacuum.
Oh yeah, vacuum, steamer, and extractor.
Those two right there are probably
those are always used. Yes, those are the most common used on average detail. And
air compressor.
Yeah,
air compressor. Yeah. Those top three.
So there's a few things that are on there that are big, but it's also, here we go when we talk about battery, because here's where battery, because some guys are using their drill brush plugged in, they're using their Tornador at the same time, and then they want to have their steamer right there. So,
and then the extractor.
Yeah. So a lot of the guys are, but you can only use one tool at a time, or we'll be working in one space. Even if you're like, well, I got two guys with me, it doesn't matter. They're going to be following you. Nobody's working in the same section at the same time. Even in a minivan, you're usually working in your section on the same. So you have to finish one thing to get to the next thing. You got to vacuum before you extract. You got to Tornador before you extract. You got to exfoliate and scrub before you extract or steam or whatever. So the order of operation, and I think guys don't know how to utilize that. So they're in the mindset of, oh, well, I just need more stuff. Because that's always the solution, right? If you don't know how to manage your time, what it's going to be, I need more time in the day. I need more time. No, you don't.
I need a bigger house so I can put all this shit in.
Yes,
just get rid of the shit.
Yeah, manage your storage. You optimize your space. Like you're piling stuff up, and it's just, and you're not even doing that efficiently. Mm-hmm. So that's always the solution, right? It's like, throw more money at it. It's going to fix a problem. It's one of those things where you can't out-earn your stupidity. Like, you can't keep buying the best and the best and the best, because you technically are only performing at a certain level. So it doesn't matter what type of machines you have. It's like having the best supercar performance vehicle in the world, but you don't know how to drive a car. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna fucking be good because you don't know how to drive the vehicle. You don't know how to operate it. So people are starting to like get all this stuff, and it's like, well, figure out how to operate it first. Because I'll go up against, like, efficiency wise, I'll go up against anybody, and we'll give it to them. We'll give it to them real nice, and we'll do it with less. And they'll just, like, people are blown away when they're just like, how did you guys? It's like, we optimize everything. We weren't playing when we told you we optimize everything.
Well, a lot of times we hear that cuts a lot of the crap, a lot of problems you guys be having is the damn vacuum.
Yeah, vacuum's always a problem.
You have a battery vacuum.
That vacuum is a worse for space, because they want the big, huge one, whether that's in a small studio shop, whether that's in a van. They want the one that looks like a fucking garbage can. So you get that big joint with a 50-foot hose with a reel that's about this big, and then you talk about, I don't have space in my van. Oh, you don't think there's other what the fuck are you vacuuming? What are you vacuuming?
Yeah, and because
Jesus Christ!
I need all this suction power to do all this. It's like, janitors run with the less vacuum. Yeah. Janitors run with the battery power.
People that vacuum for a living just vacuuming. Like, what the fuck?
Matter of fact, the man that put us up on game on the Makita backpack.
Oh, that's what he used to do.
That's what he did.
He did commercial office buildings.
Vacuuming.
Yeah, and he goes, vacuuming was the biggest thing. He goes, had to lug it up and down if the elevators were broken, this and that. Like, the vacuum is, and people are like, oh, well, unless you have a vacuum reel, you don't realize how much of advantages. How much of advantages is you grab the vacuum with one hand and you put it on your back, and then you just that's as easy as it gets.
How much suction power do you lose when you got to do you need 100, like 50 foot on the suction, 100 foot on a suction? Like, there's got to be some drop off.
Yeah, there's a little bit of drop off, but it's not even that. It's how many times have you seen these guys have problems with those fucking hoses? So what good is
that's going to be the first thing to break?
What good is all that suction power?
Because the vacuum hose is shit.
Yeah, and they always put them right above the generator, which kicks out heat. So All the same guys have the same issues.
They said they need a lot of suction power. And it's come thinking like, well, you don't have a tornel door? I thought you said you have a tornel door, right?
Again, order of operations. They're not taking into account that one tool's already going to do 90% of the work for you. So at this point, you don't even need all that suction power. So you're losing space. You're losing. You're adding more points of failure to your operation. It's costing you money, and it's power, and all of those things are unnecessary.
So I would say the pro is, which we can't, which
and there's a lot of battery vacuums out there,
which will limit our capabilities with the battery vacuum, is when people have the, what do you call it, the wet dry.
Oh yeah, the dry, like the shop vacs.
They could extract water if they have water spill. So I get that happens.
Yeah. And we don't extract anything.
That happened one
like
time.
We don't.
It wouldn't fit our
no.
business.
We don't do flood vehicles. Yeah. We don't do. We don't. There's been very few cases where we have.
Or we don't do a lot of vehicles where it had potential of mold. Yeah. Period.
Yeah. Period. If there's any, if there's anything that could breed mold in any type of way, we're not messing with it, because more than likely you're going to find it. Mm-hmm. So if someone calls and says, "Hey man, I had left my window down for 3 days. I just got home and it rained one of those days," no, thank you. I don't want to deal with that.
The other one will be, again, we talked about the guys that have their 2-in-1, their vacuum, and they make their vacuum their extractor.
Yeah.
So I get in that case, but
in a case like that, that would probably be ideal if anything, if you're going to go that route. Like the little attachments that they have to the vacuum for the shop vac.
I would try to make that work, because you go again.
Because again, now you got everything.
That makes you do one at a time.
Yeah. So there's there's always, and what got me about the video was so he went from gas. He had the 2 linked. Then he was like, it was too much because I live in an apartment complex. I'd have to carry those upstairs. He goes, I did that one time and I was like, done. Like, this ain't happening. So he said it was tough always having to fill them up. You had to pull start them together. And he goes, and that was really difficult to do because the timing has to be right on with each other. Then he said he went to a bigger generator. Oh no, he went to the EcoFlow. So he went to the EcoFlow. But then he was having issues with the EcoFlow because the EcoFlow is rated at 3,600. And he said that ain't enough. He goes, 3,600 is just not enough for a detailer. He goes,
that's wild, man.
But he was also like, he was talking about the same topic we're talking about now. But his outlook was on the other side. Because he's like, he in his mind, or in his video, how he states it is, he goes, this is very debatable in the industry, because it is. He goes, I don't know how people can detail, or they say they detail with less than like 3,000 watts.
Check it out.
Keep
going.
Yeah. Or 3,000 watts. He goes,
2,200 Honda, baby.
Yeah. And he said he just started working with someone else. So now it's really difficult because they can't get things done without having that much water. So I want to say he got, what did he get? It's got a big boy. I don't think it's a 9,000, but I think he got maybe like a 6,000 or 5,000. So some big. It's a big boy, and that's a prepper generator. Yeah. So in his mind, he's like, well, why? I want to be able to use everything that I have. Like if he goes, and in his mind, he said, the way he sees it is, you're not working to your potential if you're not doing that. You know what I mean? Kind of like you with the pressure washer and the rinseless.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why would I just use a pressure washer for part of it? Like the way that he's seeing it. And it's totally understandable.
Yeah, I get it.
But I don't think most people, and that's why we're having this video, I don't think most people understand the solution is not in more power. The solution, the true solution, is in your order of operation. Like that is the key component, and your resource management. If you have people doing the wrong things at the wrong, that's why most of the time when you go anywhere, you see people standing there not doing anything. That's because the manager doesn't know how to resource them. Yeah. They don't know how to manage the resources.
And with all these ceramic coatings getting pushed, like you don't need the generator on just for the wash.
Yeah.
You don't need that much wattage.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people have battery dryers now, right?
Battery dryers.
Like drying the car.
Yeah. You should.
You should. If you're not, we're going to link the one that we like, the Ryobi joint. We'll also, the big boy, we won't link because it's not cordless, but we'll link the Ryobi joint in here because that's cordless.
But if you don't,
we'll link all the
blower, if you have a blower that's hooked up, that takes a lot of amp wattage, whatever.
Oh yeah, that took a lot from us.
We couldn't run the blower and something else.
The blower was huge.
The blower had to run by itself.
The blower was huge. So just by getting a polisher, say you get a battery polisher, a battery vacuum, and a battery blower. That right there is saving you a ton on your wattage. Because now you can vacuum steam at the same time. You can we've been using our vacuum interchangeable for a very long time.
Well, that's a problem. Like, how many times do we always go to the vacuum in a detail? Because it's so easy.
Yeah,
when you're doing it the other way.
It was a terrible
because
seat.
when you're detailing on the interior, you have to have that vacuum on
the whole time. The whole time it needs to stay. If you're doing an interior detail, the vacuum needs to be accessible at all times.
Yeah, and we know that.
Yeah.
So we have the backpack right there. Give me. Just put the hose over. Here you go. Piece of cake.
How many times? I can't tell you how many times when I first started out, when I would put the vacuum away. And then at the very end, just from me doing the final wipe down, I'm like, fuck.
And the vacuum is the most ugliest.
Yeah. And I had to go pull the vacuum out, start the generator, run, pull everything out in turn on this loud ass vacuum just to get some tiny little spots. Ooh. Now it's just, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it.
Hey, baby.
You want to talk about time savings?
Yeah.
Fuck. Jesus. And people are working like that right now. Like this is that we're talking, like when we say we optimize, that's what we're talking about. We take shit like that out, like real problems that you don't even realize you're having, and that's we bring the vacuum in the studio too.
There's no setup. There's no setup of the vacuum.
No,
it's just
everything's together.
Just grab it.
Just grab it, turn it on.
That's it.
That is it. Everything is.
You have to put the backpack. Just because it's the backpack doesn't mean you have to put it on.
Yeah, you don't have to put it on. You could grab it, put it in the back seat. I hardly ever put it on. You could grab that thing and put it in on the center armrest and leave it there for the whole detail.
Do you sacrifice power? Yeah. But then again, we have the Tornador.
We have a Tornador. A Tornador does most of the work. We're not vacuuming a lot.
And we've done disasters and then no drop off.
Yeah.
You can only suck out what that orifice has.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where the guys that have optimized and the guys that have ran very, very bare, they don't need a lot. They don't need a lot because, and the reason I not only wanted to optimize things, but I was always thinking from a mobile perspective, I got to conserve as much space as possible. I got to be able to stay as organized as possible. I want everything to be as low level volume wise as possible. I don't want to be, I want things to be neat and orderly. And when you're running with all this big stuff, it's hard to do that.
Well, also before that, we're taking it way back when we had the battery powdered air system. That was on the Ryobi one.
Yeah.
The Ryobi compressor. That was on battery.
Yeah.
And that saved us from a lot of problems too. Because you could always keep that going. That takes a lot. I don't think that doesn't take too much power, the air compressor. But that saved up a lot of time too, having that on battery.
Yeah.
Just the con was there wasn't enough refill time. The refill time was too slow based on to the 5 gallon.
Yeah. So I see people out there now just going like bigger is the solution for everything. That's the case when you do, and there are cases where you do need more because more is better. If I was working on big rigs, that's when it's like, okay, big, now you got to go bigger.
Give me that commercial, that commercial pressure washer.
Yeah, okay, I'm doing Greyhound buses. Okay, now you go get the big commercial shit.
Now you get that loud one now.
Yeah, you get as loud as you want. Yeah. So those are the things that people I think need to kind of keep into consideration. It's like your order of operation, because I can't see a 3600, and I know that that's just what they're rated at. You know, the working wattage is completely different than the starting or whatever. You always go off the lowest running wattage or whatever. So, but we've done it with the 2200, nice. We've done it with the 3000, nice. We're running with the 3000 right now, but we could run with the 22 easily. The reason we stick with the 3000 actually is because it's quieter than the 2200. Yeah, so
Honda.
And it's a push start. You just got that's a big benefit, huge benefit.
You know what? Now that I think about it, we can't go back to the 22.
Yeah, they do the cranking.
Yeah, that cranking.
Yeah, but it'll probably be EcoFlow next. I think we're gonna go to EcoFlow next.
In my heart, I just think it's not there yet. That's what I feel about the battery power.
But also, these guys that are using it, like
these things are getting beat up.
Yes, they're like, if you got all that shit running, you're pushing that thing. You're gonna mess up anything that you're pushing that far. Like,
we're detailing with 4 hours a day.
We're doing very light.
We're detailing for, and that generator is probably running an hour.
Yeah. So just the option, guys, just to show you that you don't always have to go bigger. If you go battery with a few things, that if you could cut off, we probably cut off about 50% of our generator usage just by going battery. So a lot of big machines that no longer are used on there. So we're not only saving in fuel costs, but but we're saving in space of all the stuff we don't need anymore. I would advise you to try some battery stuff, man, and go that route, because I asked them. I reached out on the video and I said, "Hey, my man, like, you don't mind me asking, how much are you set back from generators?" Because my man said he had like 4 or 5 generators, including the EcoFlow.
That's like $3-4 grand a pop.
Yeah, the generators were on the lower end that he had, but the EcoFlow was at like 3 grand, somewhere right there. So you're guessing he's in at least 6 grand. I'm like, that's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of Google ads for a lot of detailers.
Damn.
So just from this is what we talk about when in times like this, I'm always gonna bring up the consulting, because this is the kind of shit that we solve for you before you have to go spend the time, the money, have the headaches, do shit the hard way. We lay it out for you. We'll tell you the pros and cons and why we made this decision for you and why you should work through it, and the game plan and the actionables that you should carry out in order to, overcome the issues you're having or to get to where you want to be.
I was just thinking, the same people right now that are telling me to go rinse this are the same people that are telling me to get a bigger generator.
Yes.
About a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I understand when we have these conversations, not everybody is understanding or receptive towards it. But I feel like the ones that are really about their business, they're like, okay, cool. I got you. When somebody says, hey man, this cordless polisher only performs at 80% or 70% of what you got out of the other one, but you're going to save 50% of the time. Yep. Those are the ones that understand where there's a place for it and where it can fit in, how it's going to make money. Because we shave time off of everything.
Oh man, it's fun doing headlights. I'm volunteering to do headlights.
Mm-hmm. With the cordless joints?
The other way, you got to start the generator. You got to pull the polisher out. Like
just on.
I do your headlights too, my brother.
Paint touch up, all that stuff, like scratch removal,
and then the test spots.
Yeah,
just give them the quote. Pull up to a test spot. Just 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you want that? That's what you.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of advantages of this whole electric stuff.
So we got battery powered blower.
We got the blower.
Battery powered backpack. Battery powered drill. Battery powered polisher. Mm-hmm. Someone needs to step the game and get that battery powered pressure washer.
Yeah.
Be a wrap.
Yeah, those are all weak, man.
Be a wrap.
I think Keeve got a few on his. I'm like, man, that shit's. You knew that was good. You knew you were going to drop that one, Keeve. Like, where it's just because they all say that. Oh, this has, but get out of here. Get out.
Well,
of here. The detail keg actually has more pressure than most of those, and that's a solution right there for some of these guys. Shit, just get a detail keg. If you're not working, we could probably work with detail kegs. I was thinking about buying one because none of the vehicles we work on are really that crazy.
That and the IK foamer, the battery powder one, the compressor one.
Oh yeah,
that one's dope.
Yes,
but that thing is loud, man.
It is loud.
That thing is louder than the generator.
It's loud.
That thing is just as loud as the pressure washer.
You know what it's like? It's like that's what the air compressors sound like. The cheap air compressors. You guys out there running with
that thing is loud, man.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't even want to use this loud thing.
Well, because we usually start in the morning with those.
That's annoying sound.
Yeah, very annoying. Very annoying. And we don't want to plug it on before we get there because if something hits that trigger, then you're going to be spraying the shit out of the.
But it's a tank though. It gets down.
Yeah, it does. We don't mind when we do the fleet though. It would be as loud.
So check it out. So give them a little tip. So on the IK, right, we were having the problem. The thing kept clogging up the filter.
We're talking like every single use. We would have to clean the filter.
So we're like, man, this ain't it. What's the point of having this fast thing? It ain't fast. We got to.
Yeah, we have to service it. In that tank, you got to take all the components apart. Make sure you don't lose
check it out. We went to Ace Hardware, and we got a kitchen sponge. And we just cut that out. It was a blue, the white pads? The white pads?
Like the little 3M scrub pads.
We got a blue one and just cut it out, just to filter that was already in the IK.
Yeah, we had no problem.
Hey, we haven't changed it or cleaned it since.
A couple months.
So if you guys are
having a problem, or if you're listening, IK.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, so that was becoming a problem. It got to the point where I was like, I don't even want to use this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Because we would change it out, and then the next day we would fill, we would empty the unit every day. We would fill it up, and we would be on the job, and halfway through the job, it would just start going out. It's like, man, what the? And it just foams at the.
It went out.
Yeah, you're not using it. It's unusable, and you're not going to sit there and open it up, and because you're talking about 10, 15 minutes.
And that kills the battery too.
Yeah,
that's clogged up, and it's not performing right.
Yeah. So, but
that's your tip.
But battery stuff, man. Don't be afraid of it. Use the stuff that's you're gonna have a drop off in power and stuff. But if you can cut fuel cost just by getting a smaller generator, or we want you guys to just understand, the more is not always the solution.
You know what they say in the Toyota world when the guys are saying, "I need all this power." They know that power because they hit a bottleneck. Yeah. They hit a bottleneck. So you want to alleviate those bottlenecks. So change your process so you don't need everything all at once.
You're going way over their heads.
Am I? There's some cats out there that
there's some that get it. Yeah.
That's to them guys. The other guys that don't say I'm sound full of shit, well, we ain't got nothing for you.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Go electric. We'll link everything in the description below. And go buy that new merch because the merch is on fire right now. Everybody's rocking this stuff. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for the support.